Outdoor spaces have a quiet way of changing with the seasons, gathering texture, color, and life as the months pass by. A thoughtfully designed front yard can soften the edges of everyday routines, turning simple pathways, layered greenery, and natural materials into something deeply welcoming. In today's video, we'll explore front yard curb appeal ideas that blend cottage warmth, rustic textures, and elegant landscaping details to create inviting garden retreats full of charm and balance. You're watching Rustic and Rooted, where timeless outdoor living meets relaxed natural beauty. Curved flagstones create a softer approach to the front porch, especially when bordered with clipped hedges and layered flowering plants. Warm gray stone pairs beautifully with pale gravel and dark mulch, while small lantern lights tucked near the edges provide subtle glow during late afternoon and early evening hours. A slightly winding pathway naturally slows the pace of the entrance and helps compact gardens feel larger than they are. Low-maintenance shrubs such as boxwood or dwarf holly keep the borders crisp year-round, while seasonal flowers can easily rotate without disrupting the overall balance of the layout. Fresh white fencing stands out beautifully against soft greenery and pastel blooms, creating a clean cottage garden appearance without feeling overly formal. Climbing roses weaving through fence posts introduce gentle texture, while layered lavender and salvia bring movement whenever a breeze passes through the front yard. Keeping planting beds narrow near pathways prevents the garden from appearing crowded, especially in smaller spaces. Repeating similar flower tones throughout the border helps maintain visual rhythm, and simple gravel or brick edging gives the entire front yard a tidy, carefully maintained finish with minimal upkeep. Brick pathways offer warmth that concrete often lacks, particularly when surrounded by dense flower beds and weathered terracotta planters. Rich red and brown tones deepen beautifully after rainfall, while clipped greenery nearby keeps the textured surfaces from appearing too rustic or visually heavy around the entrance. In cooler seasons, evergreen shrubs help maintain structure even after flowers fade back. A slightly wider walkway also improves comfort for guests carrying packages or groceries, while staggered planting heights around the edges prevent the landscape from looking flat or overly symmetrical. Matching potted trees beside the entry create immediate structure and help anchor the porch visually. Olive trees, dwarf cypress, or clipped topiary shapes work especially well against neutral siding, while woven chairs and textured outdoor cushions soften the sharper architectural lines surrounding the entrance area. Rather than filling every corner with decor, keeping a few open spaces allows the greenery to stand out more naturally. Early morning light often catches textured stone steps beautifully, and the quiet arrangement of balanced shapes can make an ordinary porch feel unexpectedly calm after busy days. A simple mailbox becomes more noticeable when surrounded by layered flowers, ornamental grasses, and natural stone edging. Purple salvia, white daisies, and compact evergreen shrubs create varied heights without overwhelming the small area, while dark mulch beneath keeps the arrangement visually grounded and easier to maintain. Because mailbox gardens sit near the street, hardy plants with low watering needs are often the most practical choice. Leaving enough open space around the base also prevents overgrowth from blocking visibility, especially during spring and summer when flowering borders quickly become fuller and more textured. Weathered timber arbors pair naturally with climbing jasmine, ivy, or pale climbing roses in cottage-style gardens. The aged wood grain introduces warmth against dense greenery, while gravel paths below create soft crunching sounds underfoot that suit the relaxed atmosphere of smaller rustic front yard landscapes. Moving to the surrounding beds, layered shrubs and trailing flowers help soften the vertical lines of the arbor itself. Compact plant groupings are often easier to manage than large overflowing borders, particularly in narrow front yards where balanced spacing keeps the entrance looking intentional instead of crowded. Driveways often dominate front yards visually, so adding sculpted shrubs and stone planters along the edges creates a more refined balance. Repeating similar plant shapes throughout the border helps guide the eye smoothly, while warm-toned stone textures soften the harder appearance of concrete or paving surfaces. Subtle landscape lighting near planting beds improves visibility without overpowering the garden at night. Low-growing shrubs paired with taller ornamental grasses also preserve openness around the driveway, which is especially useful for compact properties where heavy planting can quickly make the entrance feel restricted. Small unused corners become far more inviting when layered with lavender, vintage terracotta pots, and compact flowering shrubs. Soft purple blooms mixed with aged clay textures create a relaxed cottage palette, while weathered wooden benches tucked among greenery encourage slower moments during cool morning or evening hours. Instead of using many different plant varieties, repeating just a few textures keeps the arrangement cohesive and easier to maintain. Fragrant herbs like rosemary or thyme also work beautifully near seating areas, especially when warm sunlight releases their scent gently into the surrounding garden space. Layered retaining walls introduce structure to sloped front yards while still feeling organic when built with irregular natural stone. Cascading greenery spilling slightly over the edges softens the heavier materials, and ornamental grasses moving in the wind add gentle motion throughout the otherwise grounded composition. Next, varying planting heights between each tier helps prevent the garden from appearing too rigid or repetitive. Lower walls near pathways maintain openness, while deeper planting pockets allow room for shrubs and seasonal flowers without creating overcrowded borders around the front entry. Hanging baskets overflowing with trailing greenery immediately draw attention upward and make compact porches feel fuller without occupying valuable floor space. Layered potted herbs, textured wood furniture, and woven accents create a relaxed garden atmosphere, especially when softened by filtered sunlight during quiet afternoon hours. Group containers in uneven numbers rather than perfect pairs for a more natural arrangement. Herbs like mint, basil, and rosemary stay practical as well as decorative, and terracotta planters weather beautifully over time, developing softer color variations that blend comfortably into cottage-style outdoor settings. Window boxes filled with layered flowers create visual connection between the home and surrounding garden beds. White petunias, ivy, and pale pink geraniums spill gently over painted wood planters, while climbing vines nearby soften hard exterior walls and bring movement across the front facade. Because window boxes dry out faster than ground plantings, lightweight soil and regular watering become especially important during warmer months. Repeating flower colors below the windows helps tie the entire landscape together, while trimmed hedges beneath maintain a cleaner, more polished appearance around the foundation. Mixed stone textures paired with warm wood accents create a balanced contrast between modern structure and rustic softness. Sculpted shrubs introduce clean shapes, while ornamental grasses loosen the composition naturally, especially when afternoon wind catches their thin blades and shifts gentle shadows across gravel pathways. Rather than adding excessive decoration, limiting materials to 2 or 3 finishes keeps the front yard visually calm. Wide gravel joints between pavers also improve drainage during heavy rain, making the landscape easier to maintain while preserving the clean architectural lines of the design. Fine gravel pathways create soft texture and subtle sound underfoot, especially when bordered with compact flowering shrubs and rustic lanterns. Pale stone tones brighten shaded front yards beautifully, while natural edging and layered greenery help smaller gardens appear more established and visually connected to the home. Moving through the planting beds, repeating rounded shrub shapes keeps the pathway feeling organized without becoming too formal. Gravel surfaces are also budget-friendly compared to large stone paving, and occasional raking is usually enough to keep the walkway looking fresh and evenly maintained. Wide entry steps framed with matching planters create a welcoming focal point without overwhelming the architecture of the home. Deep green evergreens paired with pale flowering plants offer contrast throughout the seasons, while textured pottery introduces natural variation against smoother stone surfaces near the entrance. Layering taller plants toward the back of each arrangement keeps pathways open and improves visibility around the steps. During spring evenings, soft floral fragrance drifting near the doorway can quietly change the mood of arriving home, especially after long days away from the garden. Warm landscape lighting tucked between shrubs and stone borders highlights textures that often disappear after sunset. Lanterns placed near pathways create gentle pools of light rather than harsh brightness, while layered greenery nearby catches subtle shadows that give compact front gardens surprising depth at night. Lower lighting positioned close to the ground usually feels more natural than overhead fixtures. Soft illumination around seating areas and porch steps also improves comfort and safety, while the quiet glow across stone pathways creates a peaceful atmosphere that lingers long after the day cools down. From layered stone walkways and cottage flower borders to warm lighting and carefully framed porch gardens, these ideas show how even small front yards can feel polished, welcoming, and richly textured. Thoughtful landscaping is never only about appearance, it's about creating a space that feels peaceful when you arrive home and comforting through every season. A beautiful garden becomes part of daily life, offering quiet moments of calm right outside the front door. If these ideas inspired you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment sharing which garden style you'd love to try in your own outdoor space.